A lot of calls, a lot of conversations. Ultimately, we only did one trade last week with McCall. A lot of calls. Obviously, there needs to be buyers, there need to be sellers. We made a lot of inquiries and just had a lot of discussions about a lot of different positions, but ultimately didn't get any other deals done, and that's where we are. But excited about these next 10 games.
Last week, Dalvin and Carl both spoke to us.
Yeah.
They didn't say they wanted to be traded, but they kind of said they're not happy with their roles and they would kind of accept the trade. Did you have talks with other teams about moving those two guys?
Well, we had talks with a lot of teams. Ultimately, we did what we felt was best for the team, those guys are great teammates and great players, and I have a feeling we're gonna need those guys a lot down the stretch. So they're assets to this team, and we're glad they're here.
What did you like in Rodger Saffold kind of bringing into the practice squad?
Yeah, obviously Rodger's an experienced guy. He's played a lot of games. Tough, smart. He knows Keith Carter well, being with him in Tennessee. He's the exact type of person, competitor, mental makeup, toughness that we're looking for to add to the group, and I think he's going to be a really good acquisition for us.
Yeah, Joe, with the offensive line, obviously you guys have had a lot of injuries. How has it been just kind of dealing with that as the season's gone on, and how do you feel about this group, where it's at now and for the rest of the season?
Yeah, obviously the last few years, it's been hard. We've had a lot of different starting combinations on the offensive line, but again, it's a credit to our staff and the versatility of our players to have guys that are able to switch positions from week to week, from play to play. Having guys that can play guard one play and go in and play center, and then a guy like Xavier Newman coming off the practice squad and not thinking he's going to play one snap and come in and play majority of the game, and being able to battle against a really good front seven. So it's a credit to Keith Carter and Ben and Billy and Hack and our entire staff for developing these players, getting these guys ready to play each and every Sunday, and to really it's a little bit of a microcosm of our season, be able to handle any adversity that's been thrown their way.
What stood out about Xavier Newman before you decided to bring him in?
Yeah, Xavier's another guy that Keith really had a good feel for, and a guy that fits the profile of what we're looking for up front: smart, tough, physical, versatile, just very coachable, and just a high-level competitor.
Because of your background, offensive line was your thing, kind of thing, right? And obviously, everybody has injuries, and you've had more than your share of them. Has it been a source of frustration for you that you have not been able to piece together what you want here, with the line in any of your years? It just seems like and I think every team goes through it anyway, I get it, but, that was kind of the perception when you came in here, was, this guy, the first thing he's going to do is take care of the offensive line.
Yeah.
What's that ride been like for you, trying to get those pieces together and get the right ones? Yeah,
the frustration comes with I feel like the best offensive lines, and we want to have when people talk about the New York Jets, we want people to say they have the best offensive and defensive line in football. And so I think the frustrating thing comes in that oftentimes with the best offensive and defensive lines, there's real continuity, and you have the same five guys playing for long periods of time. And we haven't been able to achieve that for a lot of different reasons. And, that's something that that's probably the biggest source for frustration is keeping guys healthy, not only at offensive line, but all across the board. But on the other side of the coin, I love where our O-line is at from a mentality standpoint and being able to weather any storm that's thrown at them. And again, that's a real credit to Keith and Ben and Billy and every person in that room, that no matter what happens, they're ready, they're prepared, and whether they have to play right tackle one snap or center the next snap, they're ready, and that's a real credit to the players and the coaching staff.
When you, obviously, there's constant microscope on Zach, not this Zach, but, how would you, what are you seeing from him since week one and with his development? What are the tangible things that you see and the intangibles, if you would, in terms of where he's taking this?
Yeah, I mean, for a young man who, and I know Coach Shaw's talked about a lot, for a young man to have a guy like Aaron Rodgers come in and and I know they're close, but essentially come in and take over the quarterback role, and then jump into that head first and just appreciate the opportunity to learn from Aaron and develop and hone his skills and really improve day to day. Without, I'm sure he thought that he wasn't going to play much at all this year. And then 4 plays into the season, boom, everything changes. And for him to be able to step in, the growth that he's had, the maturity level that he's had, I feel like he's playing with a lot more confidence in himself, in everything he does. His teammates have his back. It's really cool to see. And there's it hasn't always been perfect with the team. I think Sunday showed that, but when plays need to be made, Zach's gone out there and made those plays under some difficult circumstances. 3 different centers, not ideal conditions, and when the play needed to be made, he played. When he needed to play his best football, he played his best football to win the game for us. And so to see him grow, to see him, like he even said, start taking the practice to the games and then playing clutch in clutch moments, it's a really cool thing to watch.
Joe, Bryce Hubb's had a pretty big year. I know it's a contract year for him, young player. Like, is he somebody you guys would consider extending before?
Yeah, so there's been some informal conversations with Bryce's representatives, and I'd say they're trending in a positive direction. Still a long way to go, but Bryce is another, not to pontificate, but that's an unbelievable player development story. For him to come in as an undrafted free agent and just work and work and work and get better every day. And I think the last 2 years, you've really been able to see a huge progression for him. And everyone's excited about Bryce.
You talked about just weathering the storm too. Just how big is special teams contributed to that? Of course, with Morstead and obviously Gray.
Yeah, I mean, Timo. I mean, I feel like we have probably the best kicker combination in the league. I mean, Timo had an MVP performance Sunday, and I love that dude. And Zerline has really stabilized the kicking position for us. And again, Brant Boyer's done a phenomenal job with that group. I think, when we talk about effort, toughness, violence, and heart, mind, fist, and everything that we're trying to stand for as a team and as competitors, I think you see that every rep with our special teams, how hard they play. I love where our gunners are at. I think Ashton Davis does a phenomenal job. So I think that's a real credit to Gobes and Leon and Brant Boyer, and those guys they play their hearts out. And when you can pin an opponent 3 times inside the 5-yard line, that's a huge thing. Those are game-changing plays that should be noted. So I love where our special teams is at.
Joe, we haven't had a chance to speak to you since Aaron went down, obviously. Can you kind of take us through, the shock element of that you suffered here and fasting forward where you're at this point, how you've kind of weathered the storm, if you will?
Yeah. Obviously not what anyone's expecting 4 plays into the season. And, like you said, the shock and, you're just devastated for Aaron, because you're here every day. You see the commitment and everything that he's invested into this team. And so your first thought is just you're devastated for Aaron. And then just to see this group of people rally, and not only in that game, but how they've approached this season and stick together and keep fighting, keep scratching, keep clawing. It's a real testament to every person in the locker room, the coaching staff, Robert and the staff. I mean, I tell Robert his power, his superpower is his positivity, and he keeps everyone together. He keeps everyone positive, and for us to be able to really come together, it's a credit to him. It's a credit to our coaching staff. It's a credit to all the men in that locker room.
How do you feel about the possibility of him coming back this season, which is obviously a big part?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Zach, I'm not going to put words into Aaron's mouth. I mean, we're obviously we're excited to see him progress through his rehab, and look, I mean, we're taking everything day by day, and certainly we'll all be excited, when he's back in the fold, just as a person, and the leader that he is. But I'm not a doctor, so I can't go into the specifics on the rehab. But yeah, I mean, we're expecting Aaron to be back.
So your job,
We're expecting him to be back. Do you mean this year? You're expecting him this year?
With the team. I have no timeline on. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I have no timeline to give you guys on him coming back, and so. But it's just good having him around. It's just when he's out there pregame, when he's around the team, it's just good having him in the building.
So you're not saying you're expecting him to play this year?
No, I'm not putting anything out there like that. Again, that's not my place. I'm not a doctor, and I don't have any breaking news for you like that.